Charney is sick tonight, will not be in, and Councillor Ogan is trying to probably come in remotely at some point here.
That's correct. Councillor Charney may attend virtually.
Okay.
We don't have her on the screen yet.
Okay.
And CAO Cynthia White is
Oh, right.
going to be attending virtually as well.
Sure. Okay. Thank you. Appreciate that. Let's move on. Unfinished business. 6.1 remedial action requirement update, 1625 Coldwater. Does anybody want to take this? Okay, hold on a second.
My apologies.
No problem.
So in regards to, we don't have any unfinished business. There are no delegations tonight. So then we are at the remedial action requirements update.
Yes.
We have received a request
Yep.
in June 27th. Council made a recommendation to pass a remedial action requirement in regards to 1625 Coldwater Avenue. That deadline has now passed. There is a request from the property owner for an extension of 35 days. That would bring us to October 31st so that they can complete the rest of the cleanup. Great progress has been made on this property. There are still some remaining items that are required to be removed from the property as are outlined in the report.
Yep.
And pictures are shown there. We also have the property owner who's in attendance who would like to say a few words to council if you would like.
Sure, thank you very much. Susan, do you wish to say something? Because I don't feel that there's going to be anybody opposed to the extension. Sure. No, come to the microphone. Go ahead. If it's a personal nature, it's maybe if you. Sure.
This is a resolution of council, so it would be best to
so
address to
come
council.
to the microphone, Susan. We'll hear you. Good to see you again. There we go.
Good. Thank you, Mayor and Council. Yeah, I just need some clarification on some of the items that remain to be removed that were in the staff report. Just to clarify, the car numbers 3 and 4 that still remain on the property, they are not derelict vehicles. They still run under their own steam.
Okay.
One's a 2006 Pontiac and the other one is a 2009 Toyota Corolla.
Okay.
My son will be selling those once he gets time to deal with that. And they're the only 2 cars left on the property. There's no other cars there.
Okay.
And we kind of like to have the cars there to show somebody's around, that it's not just sitting empty all the time. So that one. And then there's 2 barbecues that we still use. They're stored under the eaves of the garage, so they're not sitting out in the middle of anything. There's no patio attached to that property.
Okay.
And then there's also a ladder and a sawhorse that I don't understand the reason why they would have to be removed, because again, they're used at the property.
Okay. I think probably it was just listed as what was there. I mean, I have a ladder and a sawhorse in my backyard, so. Seal?
Just to clarify, so when we went through and did the initial pictures and documentation of what was on the property, there were 8 cars that were on, there was a number of cars on the property. 8 of them were identified as being removed. There were some that were allowed to be permitted to stay behind. Cars 3 and 4 were ones that had been identified as being requested to be removed as they had been there for quite a number of years. And as documented by other pictures from previous inspections of the property. Things like sawhorses, appliances, garden furniture, chairs, those sorts of things. Everything was documented as one large grouping of materials that were just in there. We were not identifying which should stay, which shouldn't go. It was just encompassing all of the materials that were on the property. This is a resolution of council. The resolution still stands. If council wishes to change what's coming, being removed, and what is to remain, that would be a decision of council to change the resolution that we had.
Okay, thank you. Uh, Anything else, Susan?
Nope.
Okay, council, Councilor Chart.
Um, Seeing the photos and the improvement of the property, I would be in support of moving the date to October the 31st because I know that these things take time. We can see that you've done a lot, and I know it's a lot of hard work, and we did get your email and your letter, and thank you for that. And thank you for improvement, because at least this way we can talk to the people that have had comments and we can show them that you've done some work and we appreciate it.
Yep.
So I'm in support of that myself.
Okay. Councilor Petrosi?
Also in support of that. And I drive daily on Quilshana and Coldwater, and I've noticed the improvement. It's a gallant effort by your family to actually clean up. So thank you very much.
Yeah, myself, I agree that I have no problem with the recommendation of the 35 days. I would like to probably amend it with leaving the 2 cars for now, leaving the 2 barbecues, and leaving the ladder and the sawhorse, with the idea that the cars will be sold. I have no problems with that. If that's okay with council.
So then, making the resolution, so then we will amend the resolution to include cars number 3 and 4 to stay on the property.
Yes.
And then as shown in Appendix G. And so the ladder and the sawhorses that are shown in Appendix A, are those the ones that you're identifying?
I believe those are the ones. Yes. So the recommendation that we have is that council grant a 35-day extension to the remedial action requirements for 1625 Coldwater Avenue with the 2 cars, the 2 barbecues, and the sawhorse and the ladder to be pulled out, with the 2 cars ladder to be later to be sold.
Cynthia, did you want to weigh in on this as well?
Yep. CEO White? Oh, we can't hear you.
We can't hear.
We can't hear you. Still can't hear you. Technical difficulties. Hold on 1 second. Okay. Can you try now, CEO? Can hear you a little bit. Gonna have to do a test pattern there for us, CEO. Okay, I think we have you now.
Do you have me now?
Yeah, we do.
Oh, perfect. I'm just wondering if council wants to be quite so specific in that so I wonder if council wants to have a resolution to review the done past the 35 days to determine if it qualifies as an export.
Yeah, we could do that, sure. That's why you get paid the big bucks, so. So yeah, let's go with that termination rather than my rambling on situation there. So let's go with that. Is that substantial, Susan? Thank you. Okay. those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Thank you. Thank you, Susan. Good work, by the way. It's a lot of work. So we will move on to the next one, and unfortunately I'm getting reports that we don't have any volume, so we'll try and fix that as we move on. 7.1, Permissive Tax Exemption Bylaw 2356-2023, Amendment to Bylaw 2288, to be introduced by Mr. Nakajimi. I'll get that right yet one of these days.
Your Worship, permissive tax exemptions are a means for council to support organizations within the community, which further council objectives of enhancing quality of life and delivering community services. And eligible golf course properties. There is currently 1 year left on the 4-year term from 21 to 24, and we do accept applications for council to consider in the middle of that term, which would be eligible for the duration. Tonight we have one application for council to consider for a 1-year term, and next year we will bring forward all applicants for council's consideration. There is representation tonight from the CNA should council have any questions and wish them to speak.
Thank you. So I'll read the recommendation and we can discuss it from there. Well, maybe I won't because it's 3 times I got to read it. So over to council. Any concerns, questions on this? I think everybody went over. CAO White, any concerns from your end or Councillor Charney? Oh, we can't hear you again, CAO. Yes.
I read the application. It says that this is going to be a gathering place to share traditional practices and protocols for the members of the Inkatha Nation and their communities. It seems to me that this is a closed building for First Nations gathering only and not open to the public. And when I look at all the other organizations that are seeking a permissive tax exemption, they're pretty well open to anybody within the community. Consultants. And the rest of that, to have that much money to itself, that's a very rich budget. And our budget surplus also over $1.3 million for the year 2022. And they are requesting a tax bill of $1,280. I find that it doesn't sit well with me. Whereas he's going to money around and then they will want to pay taxes for a single most persons will not be well paid.
Thank you. Does the representative like to speak to that for a moment? Please come to the mic. So we can get some clarification on that if we could, please. I'll just get you to push that button and the red light will come on and you will be live. There you go. Oh, thank you.
Hey, yeah, Henthelkat and Squash Nicole Johnny. Hello, everyone. My name is Nicole Johnny. I am the operations manager at the Chicken-Kakuma Assembly. And to address some of the concerns, I'm sorry, who was speaking?
Councillor Charney.
Councillor Charney. Okay, so when we refer to the Inkatha Nation, this is the Inkatha Nation. So we are on the unceded territory of the Inkatha Nation, and it's open to the whole. So we do have funding that comes in specific to our 8 communities. We have additional funding that comes out outside of that. And speaking to the consulting bills, that is, we do spend a high amount, but it's all reimbursed to us. So it's not, it's like a cost plus, like we spend that in reference to consulting on HBC specific obligations for the environment. So that is done through, so it's not a funding that comes right through us. And yes, we do have a surplus right now because we ensure that with COVID and stuff like that, we had been put back quite a bit with our program initiatives. So we do have a bit of surplus, which our intent is to ensure that we're giving back to the community to run those programs. So the space is going to be open for the Inklekutma community. That is as a whole where we are right now. So individuals that are of the Inklekutma Nation. Yes, I do understand where the councillor is coming from in reference to thinking that it may be Indigenous specific. It is something to ensure the wellness of the community members, to ensure the opportunity that they can practice their traditional practices and have a safe place to do so, but at the same time not turning anyone away in the intent that they can't participate.
Thank you for the clarification. Councillor Etchart.
I was just wondering that this is just the city portion of the tax, but still the utilities and other portions would still be paid. Is that right?
Correct. So permissive tax exemptions are only eligible for the actual municipal taxes associated with the property value. It doesn't exempt from parcel taxes and all those things.
Yeah. Yeah. So they'll still be contributing to paying for services used like water and sewer. So personally, I think that at least if we're having some other worship centers being exempt, then we're following suit with the other buildings and they still pay their utility and sewer and water, and it seems fair to me. Thank you.
CEO White, do you have anything to put in? I can't see you, so. Yes, we can. Thank you very much. So, Mr. Nekemi, just a question. I'm assuming some of the other people that are on the list, other groups, are nonprofit and have similar amounts of profit. Not that I'm asking you to divulge that, but I'm assuming we have some that are in the same ballpark, do we not?
Certainly, Your Worship, in previous council terms, we would have approved all of those applicants on a 4-year basis. We would have received their financial statements similar to what we're considering tonight on a 1-year term. And we consider those 4 classes, so places of worship, nonprofits, recreational facilities that are open to the public, and then golf course properties. So if they fit one of those, they are eligible to apply for council consideration, but it's ultimately a council decision.
Thank you very much. Any other questions from council? I'll read the first recommendation. That council, thank you ladies, you can have a seat. I appreciate the explanation. Thank you very much. Thank you for coming. Recommendation that council read the proposed permissive tax exemption bylaw number 2356-2023 a first time. Councillor Etchart, Councillor Egan. I'll get you, we've got to read it 2 times, so we'll get you. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried.
Yes, Councillor Turner. Councillor Turner. Yes. And you hear the reading?
Recommendation that council read the proposed permissive tax exemption bylaw 2356-2023 a second time. Councillor Petrosi and Councillor Egan, you have a question.
I do. I've just, actually, this was going back to before you just started making the reading. Can I go back that far?
Yeah, you go right ahead.
I'm just wondering if we're setting ourselves up for other and more non-profitable groups to, or non-profit charities and organizations to come forward and ask for this kind of thing.
Yes, you are, but you have the ability to say no here. That's why we do this 3 times.
Okay.
So you have the ability, if it doesn't sit well with you, you have the ability to sway council to say no, not today. So, on the second reading, all those in favor? Opposed? Carried.
No,
Councillor-
I'm opposed. And Wendy, or Councillor Charney?
So 3 for, 2 against. Third reading, that council read the proposed permissive tax exemption bylaw 2356-2023 a third time. Councillor Etchart. Yes. Oh. How come we have the third reading here?
We can do, the bylaw has to go for first, second, third reading, and then adoption. So we're going to be doing first, second, and third reading is up for consideration this evening. We can advertise between third reading and adoption, which we would be doing in this week. We have to do it in 2 consecutive weeks.
Okay.
So we would be doing that next week, in the next 2 weeks.
Okay.
Before it comes back to council for adoption.
Okay.
And we also now have
I see
Councillor
Councillor Ogan up there.
in attendance, yeah.
Councillor Ogan, are you hearing us? Yes, I can hear you. Have you, how long have you been on here? Okay, so, yeah, you can vote. I just want to make sure that you are aware of what we're doing here. We are on 7.1, the permissive tax exemption. And we have already read it twice, going for the third time. Did you, in the package, it explains everything that we're doing here with this nonprofit group. There was some concerns that Councillor Charney brought up, and those concerns were addressed by the people here. So we're going ahead now, and we're going to move on the third one. Do you have any concerns about what's in front of you at this point? Okay. So I'll reread the thing again. A recommendation that the council read the proposed permissive tax exemption bylaw 2356-2023 a third time. Councillor Etchart, Councillor Petrosi, Councillor Egan, you have your mic on?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay, that's all. All those in favor? Opposed? Councillor Egan, Councillor Charney, opposed. And then that will go to adoption 2 weeks from tonight. Oh, sorry, everybody's got their...
So I need to advertise for 2 consecutive weeks in the newspaper, and so this will be at the end of October's
Okay,
council meeting.
thank you.
Just
Excellent, thank you. Thank you for that clarification, appreciate it. Thank you. Moving on, new business. 8.1, 2023 Economic Development Leadership Exchange Conference. Councillor Egan available to answer the questions. So the recommendation that we have is that council approve the attendance of Councillor Egan at the 2023 Economic Development Leadership Learning Exchange Conference from November 14th to 16th in Richmond, BC. And second recommendation is that the funds be allocated from the council conferences and seminars account. Councillor, any questions for Councillor Egan on this one? Is that Councillor Ogan got your hand up?
Yes.
Again, I didn't pick that up. Who's attending? Okay, thank you. Thank you. Any other questions for, don't let Councillor Egan off this easy. We must grill her a minute. So, we have the recommendation. Did I get that seconded? Okay, so the recommendation has been read. I need a mover. Councillor Petrosi, Councillor Ogan. Any other questions? All those in favor? Opposed? Thank you. Bring us back a t-shirt or something.